Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in this one we're going to be doing the second recording of a series that I'm now going to start. I'm starting a series of CTFs that involves prepping for the MCRTP, and yeah, and unlike a regular CTF, I'm going to make this a bit more educational and explain some stuff because, just doing the CTF alone really won't help you understand everything. So, this one is called Unlock Access with Azure Key Vaults. It's hosted by Pwn Labs, and this is a free CTF, so you guys can literally just make an account in 2 seconds, log in with your Google account or whatever, and then start, you know, playing around with this. So, yeah, let's read the scenario. After successfully compromising the Azure user account Marcus and gaining access to their cloud environment, Mega Big Tech have asked us to see how far we can penetrate into the cloud environment and if we can access any confidential data. Specifically, they need us to assess the security of resources associated with the Azure subscription ID this. So basically all the resources and everything that's held in Azure is basically under a subscription ID. You need a subscription ID to access those resources and whatnot. So this is also a second part. This is the second video, and the video prior to this, we were able to gain initial access and we found Marcus's account. And this is like a two-step type of CTF, and from this one will actually continue from that point. So we're now using those credentials to, in this one, basically enumerating and doing lateral movement and accessing key vaults and then querying data in storage tables. Obviously, I don't want to just do this right away because it will be finished in like 2 seconds, but I'm actually going to make this more educational and explain some stuff as I go. So the first thing that I want to explain is Azure versus Entra ID. So when you have Azure roles, when you're enumerating your Azure roles, these roles are basically for resources in Azure. Having Azure roles does not mean um, you can access things in Entra ID and stuff like this. So same way in the other way around. So if you have Entra roles, you wouldn't be able to access, Azure resources. So it's basically good to enumerate both type of roles. On top of that, when you're querying for Azure roles or things like Azure resources related, you're basically communicating with this API, while this Entra stuff, you're basically communicating with the graph.microsoft.com. I'm not sure if this is right, like it could be .NET over here, but yeah. Um, so yeah, let's log in first and let's do the Azure CLI login user, and we take Marcus. Let's copy this Marcus, put this here, and then password. We will take this and put this here. Great, so we have logged in. We can just confirm that by doing easy account show. Perfect. So I'm gonna go back to here because I don't want to stay in that directory. Let's start enumerating the groups. Actually, let's list all the resources first. Now, to list all the resources, we're basically going to be communicating with the management.azure.com API, like I mentioned, and this would be the command to list Azure resources. And voila, there exists a key vault which is named ext-contractors. Now the other thing is we could use this command, but in order to use this command, I believe we have to log in with the Azure PowerShell. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a different way of logging in. So let's try this command. I don't think it's going to work. And what is the output? Let's just do always run. Yep, modules this, but the module cannot be loaded. Run this. So let's try to do that. Module and easy resources. Oops. Come on. Import module. And we have this thing called running scripts is disabled on systems. So see execution policies. Let's just do PowerShell, and we can bypass this using this. Let's do import. Actually, I don't even think we need to do this to run the command now, but let's now try if this works. And no, it does not work. So run connect Azure AZ account, and this is obviously because we got to log in using the PowerShell method. But we're right now using Azure CLI, so we'll continue with that. Let's go to post power access and check out the groups that we are in. We noticed that there was a key vault resource, and in order, this is basically, Azure, it's an Azure resource. So we need some Azure roles to see if we can access this or not. Let's check our Azure roles real quick, if this stupid thing would work. Give me a second, I don't want to like waste my time trying to fix this. I'm going to pause the video and be right back. Okay, I am back. So let's go over here and first let's check our membership in the Entra ID, which was formerly known as Azure ID. If we take this and we run it, we get groups permissions for Entra ID, and perfectly this is Marcus. And in order to do this, we get an error message because it says we got to connect to Microsoft Graph. Since we're, trying to log in with, trying to get groups, and our, we're trying to get groups in Entra ID. We have to log in with the Microsoft Graph API. And for that, we then have to use this. And this will then, we're now connected, and now we could run this. Great. If this doesn't work, sometimes you can use connect, what was it? Use device authentication. Was it this? Yep, right there. Use device authentication. I believe it did not ask us for a login. Damn. Sorry, I was eating something before. That's why this. That's why I'm coughing. I believe it didn't ask us for a login, mainly because the way that Azure command line works is once you log in using AZ login and all that, is that it authenticates to Azure first, and then I'm not sure about this one, but it authenticates to the Graph API as well. But yeah, don't take my word for it. But yeah, I'm also a student, so I'm not perfect at this. So here we have the three Entra ID roles, but in order to access that resource that we had listed, which is the key vault, we need to see our Azure roles. So let's go ahead and get this. I'm going to output it to a table format, so I can just get this one actually. It just looks cleaner. Copy. And we can change this to Marcus. Alright, so the role that we have is Key Vault Reader and Key Vault Secret User. If we go here, it shows the scope of this, which is on EXT contractors, and the same thing as above. So you can do some research more into the Key Vault Reader groups, what it does and all that, this role, but for the simplicity of this video, we'll just note that it can read the key vaults. So that is there. So now we know that we can access this resource, the ext-contractors. Sorry, I keep saying executable dash contractors, but yeah. Now, if we wanted to use this command, it would, from my knowledge, it should not work due to the fact that this is using PowerShell, Azure PowerShell. So we can confirm this by just taking this and running this, and object reference not set. Sign in name Marcus. Yeah, for some reason it's not working, and I believe it's because we have to log in with our PowerShell stuff. I'm actually going to do this for this video, so let's do that. Connect AZ account and use device authentication. It's always better to use the device authentication method. So let's copy this. Let's go into here, copy that. And we can take Marcus, and we need its password. So let's scroll to right over here and log in. Retrieving subscription for the selection, and I'll just save this. And great, we got it. And now let's run this command. And great, it does get that. It does work now, and this is getting the Azure rules. So it shows here we are the Key Vault reader and the scope of this, and yeah, pretty much that is it. So let's continue on with reading these stuff in the Key Vaults. So when we come to Key Vaults, there are 3 different types of key artifacts: secret, certificate, and key. For this one, we're going to be looking at secrets specifically. And yeah, if you guys want to look at certificates or keys, you could just replace the secret over here and put those entries. And before we begin enumerating this, if you guys, the command that we used earlier, it basically looks for all resources. Yeah, it looks for all resources. This one over here. It lists all the resources, but if we wanted to find out a specific resource, such as Key Vault, we would use this command, and it would show us that there is a Key Vault, this. So let's go ahead and get into this, and we can use this command. This will show us, it's a copying issue. This will go ahead and list some of the secrets that are stored inside of this. Change the name to this. Ooh, okay, so we got 3 secrets over here, and we also want to get the value of these. So if we go ahead and we use this command over here, sorry about this issue, but yeah, we can change this to this name. And let's just get this user over here. And showing some type of password. You'll find that each one of these secrets, they have a value which is their password. We can go through all of them and we can get the password for all of these. Now, before we continue, let me show you guys a more, you know, automatic method of doing this. Instead of doing all this, which is all manual, let's just use a tool to do this for us. Let's go over here and let's go to, nope, microburst. So in here, cd. Why is it not here? That's strange. Sorry, I just recently installed all of this and set it up in Windows, so alright, let me get well, I think it's in Python maybe, could be here. Scripts. cd tools. Alright, let me get microburst on here. So sorry, I didn't really plan this much before, but yeah, it should take a second because I'm going to pause it. Okay, so I was looking everywhere for this because I really thought I had the tool, but I guess I didn't, so I just git cloned it. Let's clear this up and let's go into microburst, and from here we can do import module micro. Whoops, because it's freezing on me. Microburst. And close this as well. And this is not going to show anything. Now from here, let's go and run the command to enumerate stuff. I think it's back. And where is it? Easy function. This right here. It'll start enumerating in all of these type of things, and the main things are key vaults. So it did not import yet. Oh yeah, the import time takes quite a while to do. So we'll give it a moment. And I will pause it until it comes. Okay, so yeah, I was importing the module and we had like 2 errors over here. So obviously in their documentation it says to install this, and this is a fresh Windows VM that I have, so I did not install it and now I did, and yeah, it should work now. Let's run this command. Where the hell is it? Oh yeah, easy function. Wow, okay. Sorry, this is the first time actually using this on a Windows VM, but it shows you the subscription, and obviously we have one subscription which holds everything, so we can just click enter here, logged in as Marcus, and it found the key vaults, and it will automatically list all the values of those key vaults. Right here. So we have Alyssa, some password over here, and all this. Now we need to check which one of these are valid credentials. Let's try to list all the IDs that we have, and when we're listing IDs, we're obviously commuting with the graph.microsoft.com API. So let's list all the users first. Post or power knowledge, list users, and we can use this command. Whoops. We can use this command, and let's remove the $sign over here. And great, we got a list of all the users. Now, when you go through all the user list, you'll notice that you don't find anything named Ryan, and you don't find anything named Alyssa. We have something similar to Josh, if you go down here, which is Josh. Yep, right over here. Josh.Harvey, and that is there, and this is Josh Harvey. Now, one of the things to know is that everything that we list from this using this graph.microsoft.com, not all of these will be able to access the Azure resources. So one of the things that we need is some syncing enabled between these accounts to make sure that the same things that can log in with this are able to log in to the Azure resources. And for that, we can enumerate using this command, hopefully copied correctly this time. Nope. Where is it? So this will look for the users that have the sync on-premise sync enabled. But in this particular CTF, this is going to be the exact same thing as the one above. So yeah, we can also use a password spray to find out which one is the right one, and taking the values of this and then spraying it against all of this. This is also another method you can use. But for this one, we'll just go straight into Josh Harvey and this value. Let me copy this and let's put this here. And let's actually first log out from everything so we don't have any issues. Now I gotta think, how am I going to explain the next part, because do I go in and show you it practically, or do I just tell you from here? What's a better experience? I'll show you guys practically. It's gonna make a bit more sense. So let's log out first. AZ logout. Run it again, and we logged out successfully. Let's disconnect our disconnect AZ is it PowerShell, I believe, or no, AZ account. Yeah, that's the right one. Double check with doing this, and it is gone. And lastly, disconnect. What is it called? mggraph. Do it again, and no application to sign out from. Great. So we have now logged out of everything. Now let's log in with this user, and we are first going to use AZ. Actually, we want to look at the roles of this user. So let's go into the Azure roles first. Do we want to use this? I'll use just Azure CLI actually. Login you, and let's look at where the hell is it? Right over here. So I can do this, and the password will be this. Now let's get the roles for this. Check the Azure roles. Actually, let's do it step by step. And let's list the resources first. So we can just go here and do this command. And we have quite a lot of resources, which we took a look at the vault, so we know that nothing's going to be here. Specifically for this CTF, if we go back to our objective, we will notice that we have to access confidential data, and that's where our flag would be stored. And the most confidential data that we can find from here is the customer database, which is a storage account. So now the storage account is an Azure resource, so we have to check our perms. Let's go ahead and check what type of permissions we have now and run this command. Let's do output table because it's just cleaner. Copy it twice so we don't have issues. Rate oops, so it's not working, and the reason for this is that um, let's see over here. Basic error action, invalid action due to configuration change made by your administrator. Move to a new location. Must use. So basically, it's requiring multi-factor authentication in order to log in with this. Sometimes you can have multi-factor authentication enabled on specific type of things, and this is just one of them. Let's try to log in with the and also, if we log in with the Microsoft.graph.api, whatever, we're only going to be getting using the connect mg connect mg graph. We're only going to be getting Entra IDs when we want to check our Azure permissions over resource. So the next thing that we could try to do is connect using Azure PowerShell, which is Azure Connect. Connect AZ account. Yeah, that's it. And here we are. Let's do add account, and let's see if we're able to access this. Let's do this, and the password is going to be this. Hopefully multi-factor authentication is not enabled. Complete. Okay, let's also save this, and we got our same subscription ID or whatever. And let's go ahead and run this command over here. Damn it. And we can go ahead and change this. And there we go. So we have the reader permission, and we are able to read scope is this Josh Harvey. It's not exactly showing the permission that we want. This seems to be a different type of permission that is showing us. But my main thing that I wanted to point out from this example is that sometimes you can enumerate permissions using other users. So the Marcus one is able to enumerate this because we don't have anything blocking him. Unlike, we have multi-factor authentication here, and over here as well as showing this permissions over this, but specifically nothing is showing for the storage table which we want to access. So yeah, let's go ahead and log out. This is the example that I kind of wanted to show. Disconnect. Let's disconnect again, and let's AZ logout. And AZ logout again. And now let's scroll all the way where we can connect with Marcus. Perfect. Now let's try to do the same easy role assignment to find, to find our Josh Harvey users perms. So let's click enter here. And this is obviously checking our Azure roles. Taking quite a while. For some reason it's not loading. Okay. Seems like we're getting into technical difficulties. Let's go ahead and try to do it with PowerShell real quick. Connect AZ account. Password is right here. Oh, it's saved. Okay, good. And let's just use this. See if this would work on this. No, it is not working. And I think it might be because we didn't log out or log in properly. So let's try with this. Maybe I'm getting something mixed up over here. Authentication needed. Okay, yeah. So this was actually the right thing that we did over here. This worked out perfectly, and we were able to list out the roles. But specifically for the storage table, it's that we found, which was customer database. Uh, it was requiring some Entra ID roles. You could have custom roles in Entra ID, which allow you to access those stuff. So over here we have the customer database access. This is a custom role that was assigned that allows access to the storage table resource or Azure resource. So if we go ahead and look at this further, custom roles right here, this is a good one. Let's go in here. And yep, so when we list out the role definition of this custom role specifically, we will notice that uh, what we're trying to look at is the data action, what we can do with the data. So we got to go to this area, and we can see that we have the read ability on this table service, which is a storage account. So yeah, and I believe when we were trying to connect over here with connect AZ account to we found this disconnect. Okay. I might have made a mistake. I don't know if we tried to connect using Josh's account. So worth a try, but I think multi-factor authentication is enabled. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If it is enabled, then you guys do understand my point that we were able to enumerate his access using um, using Marcus and not as the actual user. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's disconnect from disconnect, not AZ account, but MG graph. Let's disconnect, and now let's reconnect using this connect MG graph. And the password for this stupid thing was, where are you? Let's see if MFA is enabled. And it looks like it is, yes. So that was my whole point, that MFA is enabled on this and we cannot enumerate his access. I think the reason why I wasn't able to, the mistake that I made previously was I never logged in with mggraph and I forgot that it had a custom role that allowed access to it. But let's continue on. So from here, let's AZ logout. Let's do that again. And let's disconnect AZ account to make sure nothing's in here. Okay, perfect. Now let's log in with this user this and the password. Let's try to make this a bit easier for us and go to passwords over here. Perfect. So we can copy this here. Okay, and now we can also uh, go ahead and log in with this user using PowerShell as well. I mean, I don't think it's necessary. So now that we know that we have access to the storage stuff, the storage tables, one of the things, let me check if Microburst checks the storage tables. I believe it does not. Storage account, X keys, nope, it does not. What we can do is AZ storage account list. This will specifically list any storage accounts that we have. And we should have 3. Yep. Customer database, which is a storage type account. And from that, since we know it is a table, we'll go ahead and do listing all the tables, or specifically the customer database list. Indication mode, and we're outputting it as a table, so it's cleanly gonna show us, which has customer inside of it. So in order to view this further, let's see how we were supposed to. Storage, query over here. Table name. Okay. Since we're going to query this, let's go ahead and copy this command and run it. And our flag is right over here. Now, another tool you can use, which just simplifies this instead of doing all of this, I don't think Microburst works for this, since I don't see anything over here, but I will still run it. Go ahead and see if it does anything. Oops, it's asking us to sign in, so let's go with Josh Hart. This is a subscription. Let's press enter and it will continue. So this is the key vault. It's going to go through that. And nothing. Authorization to perform list. Blah, blah. Okay, no worries. That is fine. I don't want to get too carried away and try other stuff as well. Subdomains. But yeah, there is a tool as well if you log in by it. I forgot what it's called. I used it on my Linux box before. What's it called? I completely forgot. But if you install that, it should, all you have to do is log in and it will show all the storage types, the tables, and the blobs that are in the account. It's more like, you don't have to do by means of the command line, but you can go ahead and just log into that. But that's stupid. What is that? Storage. Azure storage. Azure storage. Explorer. This is it. Yep, you can go ahead and use this, log in with it, and it should work. If I go back out here. And yeah, I think I'll stop the video there. So yeah, hopefully you guys learned something, and yeah, take care.